This story is written original by Cecelib from Wattpad. All the content reading all belongs to her. No intention of violating or claiming her works. If requested to take down, just comment below or leave a message on email that provided in the description below. Peace, love.
Synopsis: Escaping from his responsibilities after a failed marriage engagement. Terron Dashwood, the heir to a noble title, went to the other side of the globe in search of a simpler and humble life. But just when he thought his life couldn't get any peaceful, his responsibilities came knocking back. He was summoned back home, back to the monotonous life he once lived, and once again arranged to marry another duke's daughter. But that wasn't all. As he slowly began to shoulder responsibilities of his family, he was thrust into the dangerous world of justice he once heard from his father when he was young. And in that world, he met a familiar face, a face of a woman from his once peaceful life that he would never forget. But she was far from the woman he knew. Regardless, he was just as drawn and tempted. But to be drawn to her would be a mistake, and to be tempted to her would put his family at risk. A decision to be made. Would he risk everything for her, or would he let her slip away in the name of his responsibility? Prologue. 10 oras ng gabi, humahagibis na sumalpok ang isang sasakyan na may sakay na 4 na katao. Isang nasa katamtamang gulang na lalaki na siyang nagmamaneho, isang kasing edad nitong babae na nasa passenger seat ng sasakyan, at nasa backseat naman ang isang dalaga at ang isang binatilyo. Sa harap mismo ng isang pribadong ospital. Sa sobrang lakas ng pagbanggaan yun, ay nayupi ang harapan ng sasakyan at nabasag ang windshield. The entire emergency room immediately went into the action after the medical staff saw the situation outside. After the hospital security checked the car, the 4 unconscious patients in the car were immediately taken inside the emergency room. The 2 of the 4 patients, the driver and the one on the passenger seat, were pronounced dead on arrival. It was a miracle to the medical staff how the driver could drive in such a condition and arrive at the hospital just right before he died. However, unlike the driver, the woman in the passenger seat died in the car while on the way to the hospital. As for the 2 surviving patients, one was in the surgery while the other one was on the death door in the ICU. No one knew if they would survive, and the doctor only could do their very best to help the 2 patients. Dr. Bren, the chief of hospital, who was standing in the front of the ICU, turned his head to the side to look who called him. It was a police officer in uniform. Kayo ho ba si Dr. Bren? Tumango ang doktor. Yes, that's me. Anong kailangan nila? Lumapit ang pulis kay Dr. Bren at nagpakilala. I'm SPO4 Emmanuel 12. Narito ako para magtanong tungkol sa 4 na pasyente na dumating dito sa hospital ninyo kagabi. Dito ako tinuro ng nurse sa information desk. Hindi kaagad umuo at nagbigay ng impormasyon ang doktor. Tungkol saan ang tanong niyo, SPO4 12? Kaagad na nagpaliwanag si SPO4 12. Kagabi, nakatanggap kami ng tawag. Pinasok daw ang bahay nila ng isang magnanakaw. Ibinigay niya sa amin ang address niya at sinabi niya pupunta siya sa hospital kasama ang buong pamilya niya. Kaso, bago pa niya masabi kung saang hospital, naputol na ang tawag. Pinuntahan namin ang address na binigay niya at doon namin napagtanto kung ano talaga ang nangyari. Kaya naman, kaagad namin hinanap kung saang hospital napunta ang buong pamilya. Yun ang rason kaya nandito ako ngayon. Pinakinggan at inintindi muna ni Dr. Bren ang paliwanag ni SPO4. Nang makitang wala namang problema at dahil pinakita nito ang ID nito na magpapatunay na pulis nga ito, sinabi niya ang impormasyong alam niya. Kung isang pamilya nga sila, dead on arrival ang mag-asawa na nasa unahan ng sasakyan. Kalalabas lang sa surgery ng babae nilang anak at nasa ICU siya kasama ang nakakabata niyang kapatid na lalaki.
Tinuro ng doktor ang ICU na hindi kalayuan sa kinakatayuan nila. Base sa sugat na natamo ng 4, halatang hindi simpleng pagnanakaw ang nangyari.
Kaya Kailangan namin mag-imbestiga. Tumingin si SPO4 sa ICU. Kapag may nagising sa magkapatid, pakitawagan ako kaagad, Dok. Ibinigay ni SPO4 ang numero niya. Kailangan ko makausap ang magkapatid para malaman ang nangyari. Tumango si Dr. Bren saka napabuntong hininga nang makaalis ang pulis. Nasa critical ang kondisyon ng magkapatid. The daughter was stabbed and the son was nearly beaten to death. Pinagdarasal ni Dr. Bren na sana magising ang dalawa pagkatapos nilang gawin ang lahat ng makakaya sa mga ito. But unfortunately, Dr. Bren's prayer was unanswered. The siblings didn't wake up. At tulad ng mga nakaraang araw, bumisita na naman si SPO4 Dulce sa labas ng ICU. Habang nakatingin sa pintuan ng ICU, may tinawagan ito sa cellphone. Hindi pa rin ba sila nagigising? Kaagad na tanong ng nasa kabilang linya. Hindi pa. Napamura ang nasa kabilang linya. Shit. Bantayan mo ng maigi. Kailangan tayo ang unang makausap ng magkapatid na yan kapag nagising sila. I'm pretty certain those two have told their daughter about it. Yes sir, ako ho ang bahala. Sige, siguraduhin mo na may makukuha tayong impormasyon sa magkapatid. Kapag nakuha mo na, alam mo na ang gagawin mo. Yes sir. When the call ended, SPO4 sat outside the ICU to make sure he would be the first to know if one of the siblings had woken up. Meanwhile, inside the ICU, a male nurse working inside received a note from the hospital staff who just left. He opened the note and read it. Outside threats, secure the cubs. Rescue, 23 o'clock. After the male nurse read it, he soaked the note in water on the sink until the paper melted, leaving no evidence. Pagkatapos, apasimple siyang sumilip sa labas ng ICU para makita kung sino ang nandun. It was SPO4 Dulce again. The male nurse sighed. Mukhang mahihirapan silang ilabas ang dalawang pasyente kung may nakabantay na pulis. Oh well, it's not like it's going to be a problem. After calmly assessing the situation, the male nurse went back to the work as if nothing had happened. Few hours passed after that, and exact 11 in the evening, the ICU door was harshly pushed open, and two patients were rushed out to the operating room. Anong nangyari? Kaagad na tanong ni SPO4 Dulce na makitang sabay na inilabas ng stretcher ang magkapatid na hinihintay niyang magising. Emergency! To the OR! Hurry! Yun lang ang sagot ng nurse habang nagmamadaling itinulak ang stretcher patungong operating room. Walang nagawa si SPO4 Dulce kundi ang sumunod at magbantay sa labas ng operating room, not knowing that the patients he was waiting for would never come out of the operating room and would be pronounced dead in a few minutes. Inside the operating room, the nurse pushes the stretchers did not stop, passing through a few rooms and entering a door used to be disposal to get to the hospital's basement parking lot where an ambulance was waiting. Dom, do you think we're doing the right thing here? The driver of the ambulance, Von Peer, asked the man observing the children in the back while the tracker, Ruthgar, was busy with his laptop on the passenger seat. You know those children are. Keeping them is a risk. No, this is a risk. We haven't been on the field for years. I thought we're done with this. Dom ordered Klaus to monitor the children's vitals before answering Von Peer. Whatever their parents did, it was not their fault. We shouldn't crucify those children for their parents' mistake. They're faultless in this matter. And I know this is a risk, but I can't say no to justice. But no buts. Dominic tied his hair into a man bun before adding, I already made my decision, and I will take full responsibility for it. We can't let these children fall into the triad's hands. Von Peer sighed. What will you do with these children then? Give them a new life and let them choose their own path. And if, even after all that, they still choose to follow the crooked path of their parents, and then that's when we will bring our judgment upon them. But tonight, they're just children who had lost their parents. They're innocent. Only the brother is innocent, I think. Ruthgar interjected after being silent for a while. According to the data I just received from our spy, the daughter knows something. Then let her decide what to do with what she knows when she wakes up. Dominic's decision did not change. Then he leaned back and let out a loud sigh. I miss my hubby. I want to go home after this. Von Pierre sighed and focused all his attention on the road while Ruthgar was making a new identity for the children. To give them a new life, they needed a new names, a new identity. A few days after the children were rescued, the girl finally woke up while her younger brother remained asleep. The girl did not shed a tear even after she learned what happened to her parents and how they were now orphans. She bravely faced their situation, courageously accepted what had happened, and enjoyed the pain that comes with it. And all she cared about at the moment was her little brother, how to care for him, and how to protect him. From that moment on, the happy-go-lucky girl who was born and raised in a loving home was no more. She was replaced by a grieving daughter with a hollowed heart full of pain, and she wants vengeance.